Thank you very much. It was very interesting, very fruitful. I would just like to comment on how to involve students. I think there are, as with many topics here today, ongoing initiatives here and there. What can be, if not copied, then taken as an example and modified and adapted, etc. Take Open Lab in Stockholm, an open innovation platform, a physical house, and an online environment as well, owned by the Stockholm city, several universities, and when they, among other things, they do courses, challenge-driven education, challenges given by the city administration, how to solve congestion problem here, how to make that city district more open, more safe, stuff like this. So they involve students for this, and the input is taken, and they have mentors, they have professors. It's a course, it's a master degree course, but it's a real issue at hand, and that input is used, analyzed, perhaps developed and put into use. The same in Vancouver, which ranks very high in living indexes, the livability index of The Economist, for example, and others. So they have a good urban environment, among other things. It's a great place to live, to walk, to cycle. It's safe, therefore. What does Vancouver, among many things, do? They have a similar platform where they ask students for input, foreigners as well, who live there. So they embrace the international talent, and they use that to improve the city and the environment. But now, please let us welcome to the stage for final words the Minister of Health and Labour of Estonia, Mr. Jevgeni Ossinovski.
Ladies and gentlemen, during the last 2 days, we've had very good discussions on the direction, extent, and pace of the technological achievements and how the ever-changing economic landscape will change labor markets in Europe and in the wider world. I believe that we all share the common understanding that digital technologies will profoundly change our societies and the ways our economies and labor markets function. Change in itself is neither good or bad. It's a value-neutral fact. It's how we react to it, how prepared we are to the change that's important. We need to be ready for both the dangers and opportunities brought along by the digital era. And for that, as been mentioned many times, we need to reconfigure the old models of employment, social security, as well as skills development. We need to find a balance between rights, responsibilities, and guarantees within different forms of work. And the way to prepare our workforce for more demanding and creative jobs to reskill and upskill our workers throughout their working lives. During the last 2 days, we've been fortunate to hear views of numerous relevant, important actors who have paramount role in the design of the future of work. Notably, my colleagues from different member states, social partners, policymakers, academia, representatives of educational institutions and companies. Of course, many interesting ideas have been brought up during the discussions that will form our way forward, and I'll just reflect on some of them. First of all, I'd like to once again highlight the potential of e-solutions and information society. Digital tools indeed have great potential to make countries more efficient in managing the new world of work. And it also makes our lives better and easier. As my Swedish colleague Ylva Johansson said yesterday in the panel, that when people were asked in Sweden whether they're afraid of new technologies, I liked the response that they gave is that they're afraid of old technologies. So I think we should not be afraid of change, but rather find ways to accommodate it so that to reap maximum benefits. Digital tools also allow us to make development of skills more accessible, as was just said in the panel, more flexible, more affordable for all, including also those who are already in the labor market. And of course, one cannot underestimate that digital economy is one of the most potent sources of economic growth already now, but even more so for the future. However, as new forms of work are becoming widespread, we also need to consider which reforms are necessary to ensure social protection to all future workers. We have to reevaluate the ways we finance social security systems to maintain sustainability, as was mentioned in the opening by the president of Estonia. For me, one of the key questions in the debate over future work is how to maximize number of winners and minimize those who are left behind. It's very important to look at the inequality aspect of this development, because social disruption brings with it political disruption, which we have already seen in some of the societies, and that in turn threatens smooth, positive development. We have also heard during these days that skills of the future are not only digital skills, which on the surface is something that we mostly talk about, but it's also social skills. Our education systems mostly are being constructed in a way as to transfer knowledge, some blocks of knowledge that is already there. And majority of our teaching profession looks at their role in this exact way. Whereas we know that more and more so, facts are easy to find in a matter of seconds. That teachers nowadays are no more walking encyclopedias, which there used to be, but have a much more important role, I would say, of actually shaping citizens of future who have the necessary social skills of cooperation, self-development, and also the attitude of learning how to learn, which I think is one of important issues or problems that many of us are facing within the societies and labor markets. We know that workers' creativity, analyzing, decision-making skills, group work are becoming more and more important, and we still aren't too good in addressing those challenges within our traditional educational systems. I think that more generally one could say that social is increasingly economic, that strong economy requires stronger society. These two things cannot be looked at separately. To conclude, main messages from these past 2 days will feed into the Council conclusions on the future of work, which we plan to adopt at the end of our presidency at the December EBSCO meeting. Of course, this topic continues to be high on the agenda of International Labour Organization, OECD, European Commission, many other institutions within academia, and of course, many individuals and companies. I would like to thank all the speakers and participants for these 2 excellent days. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to come here. We are very delighted that we have had the opportunity to have key players and policymakers here in Tallinn for 2 days. Those people who really can make a difference in the rapidly changing world. I will also use the opportunity and pass my special thanks to Mr. Juan Menendez Valdez and Eurofound for their excellent input into our conference. Also, my special thanks to Praxis Center for Policy Studies here in Estonia for their help in organizing this conference, and to our moderator for the past 2 days, Mr. Peeter Pere. And last but by no means least, I'd like to thank all the organizers or the staff for organizing this conference. You have all done an excellent job. Thank you all once again for coming. I hope you enjoyed your stay here in Tallinn and have a safe trip home, and all the best.